next little Hitler? Who'll be my next little Hitler? Who will be my next little Hitler? Who'll be my next little Hitler? Who will be my next little Hitler? Who'll be my next little Hitler?
Listening to Big Blend Radio's Toast of the Art Show with Nancy and Lisa, and you just heard Propaganda Man, the title track to the acclaimed Keyboardist-Jack-Spann's new and third album. It releases July 26, 2019, and we're super excited to have him on the show today. Go to his website, jackspann.com, and that's Spann with two N's, and go get it. It's going to be out, again, July 26, CD, digital formats, and it's through Big Boo Publishing. So welcome, Jack. Who's going to be your next little Hitler? I'm kidding. I'm just like, wow. I mean, just lay it out on the table. How are you?
I'm great. Is this Nancy or Lisa?
This is Lisa. Nancy's here too. Now, say hi, Nancy.
Hi.
That's funny.
You know, my story is so boring. I'd much rather hear about you, but I know the show is not supposed to be all about you. But yeah, what do you want to know? I mean.
Oh, well, we want to know. Okay, so listen, Propaganda Man, I love it, and I love it that it's the first track too, because a lot of times title tracks are in the middle or whatever, but you just like lay it out, like get ready. I'm going to be straight up on this album, and it does, like I said at the beginning of the show, like you've got a little bit of everybody, but you're Jack Spann, and it your sound reigns throughout the album, but there is like, I don't know, I feel like I'm going through a vortex of different eras of music, and that it's time, we need to hear music and stories and words and have those melodies that are strong like that, but have this where it's straight up. Like, we need music like that now.
That is really, really kind of you. And I have to say, I just listened to your previous interview, and Ryan David Orr was just delicious. I mean, what a great song that was, and the couple of songs before that. And that guy's got a great voice. Where's he from? Chicago, right?
He's lived all over. He's traveled the country and the world. Okay. But he's in northern Arizona now, and he really is. He's been on our show about 3 or 4 times now, and I think one of the best singer-songwriters. Yeah, his whole album, I encourage you to listen to it because it's really his words. He's a master storyteller, and I'm going, you need to do this as a play. It turns out his album's like that, and I feel the same. Nancy's always trying to recruit people. Not that she's going to do anything. She just wants him to do a rock opera, and she was saying the same thing about your album, that this needs to be that.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan, so I'm glad that you played him, and I'm glad that I didn't get to talk to him, but I'm glad that we got to share the same airwaves.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Next time we'll put you all on together. We'll do that.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, we can do a duet. So I'm going to tell you like my situation. So right now, I'm living in the Hudson Valley in New York, You guys are in Colorado, right?
Yeah. For today.
So I moved. I'm a St. Louis, Missouri native.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to rhythm and blues and soul music. And at the age of, 15 or 16, my father kind of picked up and left our family alone. So my mother and I and my sister were there together, and I started hanging out in clubs, and I met Ike Turner and this guy named Billy Gales, who's a famous blues singer, and this guy Albert King. They used to play on the Chitlin circuit coming through St. Louis in those days. And a friend of my brother's owned a club where they played, and so I got to go hang out backstage, and then I just started playing keyboards, picking up every possible influence that I could. And finally, I started recording music, and I got a degree from this place called Webster University in St. Louis, a degree in music, which was absolutely worthless. And then moved to New York City in about 1992, and immediately started playing gigs with people. And the first gig I got was doing the music for a soon-to-be nascent Broadway show, which was based on the movie Urban Cowboy. Turned out to be a horrible flop. It was a horrible, terrible, worst show ever. Yeah, it happens though. But I kept knocking around. I finally got into a show myself called Warhorse, which was at Lincoln Center and ran for almost 3 years. And I played a character named Songman. I was also in a show. Excuse me, my throat. I was also in a show called Lost Highway: The Hank Williams Story, which was, as you can guess, about Hank Williams. So that went on for a couple of years. Knocked around and played with some, I don't want to name drop, but I played with some people in the business. And then about 4 years ago, I met David Bowie's producer, Tony Visconti, who invited me to play on demos for what became the Black Star album. So got to sit next to Bowie every day for a week.
Cool.
He was hilarious, really funny guy. He was shorter than I thought he was going to be because I'm like 6'5", so everybody is short to me. And in real life, he wasn't as tall as I thought he was. But just a funny guy. And I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement about like personal details and everything. And I know he's passed away and everything, but I still, in my heart, would like to honor it. And I wish I could share some of the stories that he shared with me about people that he adored and abhorred in the music business. Unfortunately, I can't do that, but maybe sometime we meet in person. So about 4 years ago, I'm going to keep going because I can just keep talking forever and ever. But about 4 years ago, so I don't know. So you guys are in Florence, Colorado. Like, how much time have you spent in New York City? Either one?
None.
Oh,
I once got off the plane. I got off the plane once and went from one side of New York to the other and got on another plane. Never been to New York.
But you've got a song on your album, and you talk about going to Boulder, and you sing about that. But no, we travel full time, but we haven't made it to New York yet. But we're here for a week, and then we go to Kentucky. So
I have to say, I am delighted and honored to meet someone in the entertainment business who's not like in New York and has never been to New York. This is like a first for me, and it's wonderful. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
What happens in New York?
I know. I'm scared now.
I feel like
so I was just going to say. So now I'm in this place called the Hudson Valley. So I'm about 70 miles north of New York. When I moved to New York City in 1997, I moved into a. Can you say the word shithole on your show?
Well, you did.
Anyway,
you can say whatever you want.
I moved into it. Thank you.
No, we're not going to talk about Norway, are we?
Oh, no. Not unless you want to. It's your show, so I can go anywhere you want.
I like Norway.
But so
do I.
Just to finish my story, so in 1998, I was living in New York City. That's where I had moved. My rent was like $900 a month for a tiny crap hole of an apartment shared with 5 other people. they eventually all moved out, and I got the whole apartment by myself. And then about 3 years ago, my landlord dropped in and said, "We're selling this building," and they offered to sell me the crappy apartment for $1.5 million. And I was like, "You guys, I'm a musician. I cannot afford that kind of money." So I started looking farther and farther outside of New York City, and then finally found this beautiful place. It's like the Garden of Eden, the Upper Hudson Valley. So, I'm about a half-hour drive from Woodstock. Woodstock, New York. And it's just a beautiful area. There's a lot of, there's a lot of farming. There's a lot of nature, a lot of hiking. It's kind of like, it's kind of like the Colorado of New York.
That's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool because Gary-Tanin, we've interviewed a number of musicians that he's worked with and produced their albums, and all of them fantastic. And so it's interesting because a lot of the music comes from Milwaukee, and I thought, wow, we got another Milwaukee musician, and you're not, and you're from, St. Louis and then New York City. How did you meet Gary? And because he's done all three of your albums, and every album I've heard of his that, in the interviews we've done, he's got a golden touch.
Yeah. I was introduced to Gary by Tony Visconti. I've been bugging Tony to help me produce some music because I thought it was finally time to get, my own original albums out. So Gary was hooked up by Tony, who was David Bowie's producer for many years.
Yeah.
And they have a relationship, and I don't want to describe it because I'm not exactly sure what it is, but they're friends and have worked together on various projects. So Gary seemed to really like and be supportive of my music, and even though I think it's kind of nutty sometimes and it's kind of crazy, he's always been very encouraging and helping to draw out that side of me. I'm not sure if it had been up to me, if I would have released an album called Propaganda Man with several overtly political songs.
Awesome. No, I love
but
it.
But Gary, Gary
it.
talked me into it.
No, but I think here's the deal.
Awesome.
If you write something, and it doesn't matter whether, if people don't like it, they don't like it, and if people do, they resonate with it, right? There's the song, one of my, I love all of them. I love the entire album, and I want to see it on stage so badly because it's so colorful and so real. It's like different people's stories, too. And then Rage in the Garden has to be one of my ultimate favorite songs. It's just because that's how it feels. It's kind of like Eden's being destroyed, yet, there's this, I love that song so much. I love that you put Propaganda Man at the top, but Rage in the Garden, to me, there's something that just, it's my thing.
I like that you put the word little in Propaganda Man, that little Hitler.
Yeah, little Propaganda Man, yes.
Because when you say little Hitler, that all the Hitlers of the world are really pissed at you right now because you said little, because they are. Yeah, they're little. I love it. I know you went, this is going to really get them.
One of my main goals in life is to piss off trolls.
Yes.
So
you
hopefully...
said the troll word, our favorite word.
You said the trolls. Oh, boy.
I love it. Yeah.
That's
okay.
So hopefully...
certain people.
But Rage in the Garden, tell us about that because I love this song so much.
Oh, that's so very kind of you. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be just like, oh, it is, yeah, of course, it's great. But I think every artist has the same feeling. It's like when someone compliments and actually really compliments your work, it always, it always means something. So I really, really appreciate that. I don't know if either of you grew up either Christian or Catholic or, like any religion that.
Are we going to marry the flag with the cross? Uh-oh.
Okay, this is
that's a long story. If either one of us start to answer it, but we're not very good at the religion side. Let's put it like that. We don't carry the cross. Oopsie, it's a Sunday.
However,
we're not married to the flag with the cross.
I have to say, I did teach art to cloistered nuns in Kenya behind iron bars.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Oh my God.
Isn't that weird? But I'm not religious, and they didn't care.
Yeah, I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's admirable, and I'm delighted that you did that. Yeah, I think. Okay, so my story about Raised in the Garden is, if you have grown up as a Christian or a Catholic or Jehovah's Witness or any religion that reads the Bible, there comes a point, like, children basically will accept anything that's given them, and you can tell a child that the world is 6,000 years old, and they'll believe it unquestioningly. It's no problem. It doesn't make any, it's not absurd on the face of it. And then we have people like our 53-year-old vice president who, believes that the world is 6,000 years old. So there came a point in my life because
he was there.
That was a good burn. There came a time in my life when, I was like, hey, this doesn't really make sense. The world can't be 6,000 years old, and why is Eve the one with the curse when Adam was the one who right? Like, so this, I think if you're the type of person that I am, when you finally realize all the, you can call them lies or the fantasies that have been forced upon us for many years by those religious people.
I love that you're on a Sunday show. I think this is fantastic. This is delicious.
It can elicit an emotion that can be described as rage, because you're like, hey, what the hell? This
it's like
bullshit.
Santa Claus. Santa Claus is not real, but you're going to be lied to the entire time. The Easter Bunny is not real. Santa Claus is not real. But believe in you've got a tooth fairy that's going to come in and give you money. So we're going to have all of this. We are so going to get emails after this, but I don't care.
I know, but okay, which is the bigger story, the bigger whatever story on Christmas? Santa Claus or the birth of the baby Jesus?
Yeah,
which is the bigger
why
story?
Do we have? Okay, that's weird. Why do we have Santa? And, why is the Easter Bunny and Santa all connected to, Jesus time? Uh-oh.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm taking notes, you guys, and the next song that I write is going to be
the Easter Bunny.
Heavily influenced.
Oh, my God.
Heavily influenced by both of you.
So much trouble.
Peter Cottontail was bouncing around the grave when somebody ascended.
Also,
because
I just want to
Peter
say,
was a disciple. So
I just want to say
that is a disciple.
Like the three of us can have this kind of inside joke because we don't really believe, but I do know a lot of Christians, and most of them are really caring, kind, generous, wonderful people.
Yes, and everybody has.
Okay,
this is the thing. This is what. No, let me say this. We're in a country that allows us to all enjoy freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and so this is why Propaganda Man is so important. Whether people like the sentiments or not, or Rage in the Garden, whether they like those sentiments or not, that is your story that you get to tell as an artist through free speech and through art and through freedom of religion. If we do not use those muscles, we lose them. Like if you don't play the piano, eventually you're going to need to go into some serious practice. So I think that it's very important what you do, Jack. I'm just saying that's what I believe in. You've got to do what you have, and it's not being rude or mean to anybody, but this is your story about what you feel, and that's okay.
And God bless all the believers, because there wouldn't be much of a world if
people didn't have faith.
If people didn't have faith in something, and if our parents or perhaps our grandparents or great grandparents didn't have the faith. You know, and I can see, like, in a pre-scientific age, it must have been really tempting to just look up at the sky and say, oh, that's heaven, and there's smoke belching from the ground, so that's hell down there. You know, but I think we all know better now.
Yeah, it's different now, like climate change. We need to look at climate change. We've got to listen to science a little bit more than fairy tales, you know. I'm just saying.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Yes.
How has the climate changed in your neck of the woods in the last couple of years? Has it gotten warmer? Has it gotten colder?
Well, we travel full time, so we go into different places, but we have been the last couple of years. We've been on the road now, a month and a half. We took a break and we were in southern Arizona. And it has changed. When the monsoons come or don't, sometimes you get a heavier monsoon. It is changing. Like one area, we were just talking about a national wildlife refuge, Buenos Aires. Suddenly, what didn't have a lake suddenly had a lake, and what is a wetland is now dry. So you do see this switching over of things. Some areas getting colder than normal. You do see that, and it's little bits and pieces. Things are, I mean, you can look at the earthquakes that just happened in Southern California. They're supposed to happen. That's a natural thing, but now they're still having them. Is that normal? So you've got to look at how frequent. We do a lot of shows on climate change, and you can see when glaciers are going away. We don't have to be there to see that the glaciers are melting. We have TV. We have internet.
Know that.
They're melting faster and faster.
Sea
they're going
rising.
away. And towns are having to move. So it is happening. We see it just even driving and travel with the tour that we are on, that weather's changing in seconds.
Can I just say something here? The problem is with climate change is we know it's happening. That's a given. But we don't want the blame for it. So when the scientists came out and said it's our actions as humans that are causing it, or at least partially causing it, but the good news was that we could actually mitigate it by stop doing the things that we're doing that causes it. That's where the drama came in. Climate change, that's a given. Can we do something? Did we cause it? That's where the drama comes in, because you got big oil and gas who never want to admit to anything. You know, so, and the stock market, which everybody invests in, so nobody wants to admit to anything. So we'll just all sit here till it all happens and go, whoopsie, we were wrong.
Gee, Jack, are you glad you asked that question?
Wait, say that again.
I know he's gonna. We should play. I know. Did you? Are you glad you asked that question now? Since we both went off into our rant on that.
I'm fascinated. It's wonderful. Can I relate a personal story
Please do.
of mine?
Please do.
So I'm from St. Louis. I grew up in a neighborhood that's a stone's throw, 3 to 4 blocks away from the Mississippi River. Since I left, they've had a 100-year flood, on the average of once every 5 years, and they've had 50-year floods almost every year. So there is no such thing as 100-year floods anymore. Hey, So now I live in the Upper Hudson Valley. It's a very nice area. It's kind of like the Shire. If you think of New York City as Mordor, I now live in the Shire. But we have we have a couple of acres of ground, and last year I was doing some yard work, and I've always been a city boy, so I've never really lived in the country. I was out laying on our lawn and got a tick bite. And I found it a couple of days later, and developed a fever, and I went to the emergency room of our local hospital, and the doctor said, number one, you're really lucky that you developed a fever, because most people don't develop symptoms until it's too late, and so I was able to get antibiotics. Number two, he said, you are the 10th person today that's come in with this, I think it's called babiosis. So it's just a tick-transmitted, bacterial infection. But it's becoming very common around this area. And if it's common in this area, I can't even fathom like what's going on in Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana.
Right. Yeah, right now.
So
I had tick bite fever in South Africa more than 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
Because we had horses, they had ticks. I cleaned the ticks off the horse, and I got bit, and there you go. And then it turned into glandular fever. That's what they called it then. But I mean well,
don't scare Jack.
But
He's not going to get that.
Well, I don't want us to leave. I don't want us to leave everyone who's listening, if anyone is listening. Knock knock. But I don't want us to leave people with a sense of despair, because there's plenty of there's lots of reasons to hope. There's lots of positive change that's happening, and there's many things that we can do personally. I'll just leave it there. We shouldn't despair.
No. That's the thing. We talk about climate change. There's things that there are so many organizations doing so many amazing things. We have friends that run Bethesda Green in Maryland, for example, and they're an incubator for green businesses that are creating amazing products and stuff like that. So there are tons of things. We travel full time to national park units and parks. We see what parks are doing. They actually lead the way in showing what's happening in climate change in regards to, here's this pristine place we've protected, this is what's happening. So a lot of education is happening. So there's a lot of good stuff. I think it's important, and this is that line that always happens when you put out an album that spills it out and says hello. There's always that thing like, oh, but your album has so many other songs that are like, okay, sing your own song. I think that's a very, very important message. Even the title of it is probably one of the most important things that people can do, because it's a song, to me, about personal responsibility and knowing yourself. And you can't move forward in the world until you know who you are. I mean, you can move forward, and that's your journey into finding who you are. But sing your own song is, I think, one of the most important songs in your album, quite frankly.
I really appreciate it. I'm delighted and honored that you think so. And I think, in a way, it is my favorite song. It's also like totally corny, but the world needs that every now and then.
You've got to balance. You got to talk about Little Hitler and Putin, and then you can go to, sing your own song, because it's that balance. And that's what I'm saying. When you put an album out there with strong messaging, you have to have that balance, and you have it. That's what's so great about this album, is you have a balance of, you've got lullabies, you've got love songs, you've got everything in there. It's not just like, here, let me do it's not complete politics, I don't believe, other than we are politicians, all of us, at the end of the day. Don't you think?
Ooh. Oh, I'm stealing that idea too.
If you vote. Can I play "Sing Your Own Song"? Do you want to give everybody like a few words on? I want to end with Rage in the Garden. I want to do that, but tell everybody about "Sing Your Own Song," and I'd love to play it if you're cool with that.
Oh yeah, I'm totally cool with that. So, if you were to see me walking down the street, or if you were out in the mall, or saw me walk by at the airport, you'd think that is the whitest guy I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm like 6'5". I have bright blue eyes, brown hair, kind of ugly looking, but I just look like a typical white guy.
You're not ugly. Good God, are you kidding me?
But my grandfather came to this country from Austria in about 1936. He and my grandmother were both from the same small village in the Burgenland, which is in the western section of Austria.
Wow!
For complicated political reasons, they had to leave.
No, I have to say, my grandfather came from a village called Sickloyd in Austria.
Where? Oh,
Sickloyd in Austria. Yeah, that's
what
the boundary kept changing. One time it was Austria, and the next time it was Hungary, and his wife came from Hungary.
Oh, that's cool. So my grandfather's name was Unger.
Unger.
Which,
wow.
Which is like an Austrian connotation,
right,
for someone who's Hungarian, right? So yeah, I'm there with you. the Austro-Hungarian roots. But he never really spoke English that well.
Really?
You know, he was an adult by the time he moved here. He got a job as a railroad worker, and my grandmother, who I don't remember that well, but she never spoke English in her life. And so, you know, so I wrote this song, you know, to commemorate them and to honor their memory, being immigrants to our country and bringing me to this country. And, you know, hopefully I can pass along and welcome the same kind of welcome to other people that come here.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's kind of what the song is about.
You know what I thought was really cool is in the song you talk about him picking mushrooms for your lunch, and you know you just think about that forest, you know, going in the, you know, foraging in the forest, and that's such a European thing. We do it here. People are only now catching on. Other than the Native Americans have been doing that for a very, very long time. Just saying. But Europeans, you know, that's something, you know, for truffles and mushrooms. And I was listening to them like, he's not talking about those mushrooms, but he's talking about the food mushrooms.
I wasn't really talking about those mushrooms with the grandpa.
No, but you know, but I thought it was just really nice because it was like he was like, you know, fixing you lunch, and I don't know, it just was this beautiful setup. Let's play it. We don't have to talk about it. Let's just play it. Here it is. Sing your own song. Again, everybody, it's from the album Propaganda Man, and you can go to jackspann.com. Comes out July 26th. Jack Spann with 2 N's on that span. Here it is. Sing your own song.
Now my grandpa was a funny old man with a strange foreign accent from a faraway land. He never spoke English as well as I can. Na-na-nee, na-na-no, na-na-na, grandpa. And he sang weird, funny songs back to back as he tramped through our woods with a burlap sack, digging mushrooms for his grandson Jack. Na-na-nee, na-na-no, na-na-na. Grandpa says, aren't you worried what they'll say the minute that we turn our backs and we walk away? Grandpa says, read a voice, and you just sing your own song. Grandpa says, sing your own song. Don't you worry if nobody else sings along. You just sing your own song. You sing your own song. So I went out singing town to town, and I tried not to let people bring me down, and I tried to be loving, tried not to frown. Na-na-nee, na-na-no, na-na-na. Grandpa said, look down on me, hey, to the dead or the living, what they cannot repay. Grandpa said, breathe, boy. Oh, just breathe, boy. And you just sing your own song. Don't worry if nobody else sings along. You just sing your own song. Don't you worry if nobody else sings along. You just sing your own song. Don't worry if nobody else sings along. You just sing your own song. Don't you worry if nobody else sings along. Come on, sing your own song. Don't worry if nobody else sings along. You just sing your own song. Don't worry if nobody else sings along. You just sing.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio with Nancy and
like
Lisa, and that was Sing Your Own Song from the album Propaganda Man by Jack-Spann, and you got to go check it out. Go to jackspann.com. That's Spann with 2 N's. Just proving I can spell. But it comes out July 26th, and I encourage you to get it. And I love that. Sing your own song. That's a mantra.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, Jack. I think that's a mantra.
Oh, thank you.
And I love
the
story. At the beginning, it's got that country vibe and everything. And there is a side of this. I don't know. It's just for me. It kind of, parts of your album kind of take me back to some of how Frank Zappa did some storytelling. And the way the vocals come in the background and the backup singing. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be probably me in that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I could not think of a nicer compliment than to be compared to Frank Zappa. And if I had 1/20th of his talent, I would die a happy man. Honestly.
Well, he is epic. Like, to me, he is like this epic individual, and I loved what he did in regards to changing the platform of music and how he had his own cottage industry going, right? And he did exactly what he wanted. And that Frank Zappa did sing his own song, and I think I love the message of that song. He really did, but you have like an orchestra, and it's like a musical going on with this whole album.
Oh yeah.
Do you see it going on?
So much stage? Can I say one thing about this song?
Go.
Can I say one thing about this song? So,
sure.
my friends who I recently made the acquaintance of in the last year and a half, Matt Gallagher and Jason Clinton, who are from my neighborhood, and they're horn players, and they actually did the horn parts on the song, and they didn't, due to an oversight, they did not make it onto the credits, and I've apologized profusely and done everything I can to make it up. But yeah, those guys were playing the horns. So the way that I worked for this last album is basically I will turn on a click that's in my headphones, and I'll start playing the piano to that. When I have the piano part down, good enough, I will start putting the bass down, and I don't play bass that well, and the guitar, and I don't play guitar that well. But because of the recording studio, I can do, like track after track after track until I finally get it to sound okay. And at that point, that's when I get like the drummer to come in and play on it, and whoever else. But yeah, that was me playing, bass, guitar, piano, harmonica, and my friends playing horns, and my drummer Cecil Robinson playing drums. So
right on.
Yeah, it's really nice of you. Thank you very much.
No,
I
have
like
to
that song.
say, the bass is outstanding. My ear for whatever always goes to the bass.
Oh,
that's the foundation for me, the bass. And
that's what
I
makes
thought
your
that
butt wiggle.
that was spot on, dude.
Wow,
well,
you must be a Paul McCartney fan.
Oh yeah, well, she is. But this is the thing with being a keyboardist, right? Once you've mastered that, all instruments become part of you. Yeah. And because your bass, your rhythm, you've got the high parts, you've got all of it. And so I think that's what's so beautiful about your musicianship, but your storytelling, your lyrics. I know that you've done keyboards for years, but and piano, and watched you, you're like a little Jerry Lee Lewis, or I should say a big one since you're so tall. I won't do little man to you. But
no,
really,
don't do
where
that.
did the lyrics come in?
Remember,
for you? Because
6'5".
Yeah, your lyrics are incredible. Is that something that you've always been doing? Is writing? Because I appreciate your lyrics so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to pin down why. I'm just kind of a perfectionist, and I have heard such great stories coming from, artists like Stevie Wonder and the Beatles and Bob Dylan and some newer people. But I take it upon myself as a responsibility to do the best job that I can do and to tell the best story that I can. And I can never stop until, I'll hold up the entire production of an album. And I've done it in this case. It took me a year and a half to finish this.
Wow.
Just for the sake of getting one verse right. And, I wish more people did that nowadays. because recording technology has made it really easy to you can just walk into a studio and press a button and you're done. But yeah, thanks for noticing that. And I really do try to get the lyrics right, as close as I possibly can. And like I think I said this before, like I'm no Frank Zappa and I'm no Stevie Wonder and I'm no Paul McCartney, but definitely the best Jack-Spann that I can be.
Yeah, exactly.
And I keep
That's
trying.
what I said at the beginning. At the beginning, you have influences in there for sure. They're very loud and proud. David Bowie's in there a little bit. But at the same time, this is very much you throughout the album. And I love that because I think at the same time, having those influences, you're carrying the torch for people. And it allows people to slip into a song sometime very easily and then go, oh, I didn't expect that. And so people, that's the hardest thing about new music. I'm one of those people, I can't wait for new music. I'm like, bring it. I want to hear it. I'm excited about it. But I know it's a change of comfort zone for listeners a lot of times to go and listen to something new. And once they've sipped the Kool-Aid they're in, you know what I mean? It's the hardest part. Yeah. So
I mean, I can just imagine being Frank Zappa, like a 20-year-old Frank Zappa trying to convince musicians, like, guys, this is really going to work. Like this is okay.
Yeah.
And it must have been what a compliment to him that he was able to pull it off and have such a great career and talk other people into doing it, right? Like,
it's so weird that humans are so resistant to change and trying something new. They really are. I don't know if it's a survival instinct. It's working now. We're surviving, so don't push the envelope. I don't know what that is, but humans really are resistant to change. It's like, oh, come on, dudes. Just,
it's
come on, jump off that little cliff and see what happens. Come on.
Try a different hairstyle. Try new shoes. Try
oh, my God,
color,
not a new
whatever it is. I know. But listen, Jack, I want to play Spontaneous with you, the song game, because I know you're going to be good. But before we play that, I do want to know, do you ever see this being a stage production? Because there's so many stories in this, and it's got that vibe, that energy, that color, it's got texture. I don't know. I see this. Nancy and I both were saying this today, like both you and Ryan David Orr that were on our show today. I'm like, both of you should be doing this on stage.
We need
not
some
just the
rock
music, but like a theater.
People.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you see this
we
being like a stage production? Yeah.
Please.
Come on.
Well, telecommuting is getting easier and easier, and I would love to do a stage production, whether it's with Ryan or with you guys or anyone.
No, but I mean with Propaganda Man. Do you see it as a theater production? Like, be it on
that would be so cool.
Theater, like an actual. You make it a theater show, like a show, in regards to the different stories and the different the different characters coming out. And
this
like a play.
This is what my drummer Rob has been telling me. The only problem with this particular album is that there's so many stories. I'm not sure which one to concentrate on. Like going from point A to point B being the end of Act 1, and then point C to point D being
you could do it as a
the
monologue,
end of Act 2.
but not a monologue.
Dude,
like a monologue with music.
No, I can already see the opening Little Hitler song with orange hair.
Oh,
sorry.
Wow, you guys have given me a lot to think about. This is really amazing.
All right, well, I'm going to give you something to think about. We're going to play Spontaneous song game. Okay, this is fun.
Okay, here we go.
We're going to give you a word, and you have to come up with 5 words in a song, the lyrics of a song that contain that word. So if we say mountain, you go, ain't no mountain high enough. That kind of thing. All right.
Okay.
So
can I ask one question?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Before we begin, so the name of your show is Toast to the Arts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind? Do you mind if we actually have a toast before I do this?
Okay.
Cool.
Sunday is our Champagne Sunday show. Anyway, we always drink champagne. Can't you tell? So we always have champagne. Toast. Well, we do.
So
we'll have some for you.
Let me grab my opener.
Okay.
Okay. Nancy and Lisa, I just want to toast you for bringing me on your show and for trying to bring music not only from me but from other people to a wider audience. And all the best of luck in your future endeavors. And here's to you.
Well, thank you.
Go.
Well, thank you.
Thank
you. And
Ready
toast
to play.
To you. Listen. Toast to you before we play, because a new album coming out is a piece of work. It's like a manuscript of a book. It is a big process, and it's not just you doing it. And sometimes that's a hard thing and the best thing, that you have other people working with you. It's a very difficult production. We know, we publish magazines. We've done some musical stuff. We understand it's hard. And toast to you. And toast for you for standing up with Propaganda Man and singing your own song. I think that's just a good role model. You really are. So, all right. Okay. I'm going to give you your word, okay? Your word. I normally start with Nancy, but I know you heard us play this with Ryan, so you can go for this. Your word. I got to get this. Okay, you got 10 seconds to do this. I got to get this all queued up here. Your word. You know what? I think this is a good word for you. Your word is love.
Love, 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 love. All you need is love.
Love.
All you need is love. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, awesome. So wait a minute. So somebody else goes next, right?
Yeah, you get to give Nancy a word.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Nancy.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Kind. Yes.
Break.
Like breakthrough.
Yeah. Go. You know that.
Oh God! To the last whatever breakthrough. Oh shoot! Don't go breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Had to. Yeah.
No, that's not it. I'm sorry.
Don't go breaking my heart. Why? What?
Oh, that's true. She said breaking. It's just break.
Yeah, breaking.
Yeah.
You could have done. Did you say break?
No,
don't go breaking. No, breaking is fine. No, breaking, because you said breakthrough. No, it's fine. You did it. Breaking is fine. You made it without being butt panned. Yeah, breaking is fine. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, you got it. Mother-daughter drama right here on Big Blend Radio. Okay, so Nancy, oh God, now you get to give me one. That's scary.
Oh, ha. Okay.
You know I'm going to get butt panned now.
Hotel.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place.
Oh, dude, I really thought you'd do Elvis Presley. Come on.
No, I know. I just, I'm sorry. I'm just tired of Hotel California being played on the hour, every hour, in every town, on every radio station.
Why didn't you do Elvis Presley? Come on, dude. Do it.
I don't know, but I was thinking of champagne.
Okay.
So we didn't get no butt panning. Well, Jack, you're good luck. You're a good luck emblem. A good luck totem, I should say, emblem. Here it is. So thank you so much for joining us, Jack. Such a delight. We hope to see you perform in person. When we get to New York, we'll get there. We will get there because we're on our way. I mean, if we get to Kentucky, New York isn't that far away. But we would do anything to see you perform live. We've watched you on YouTube. We checked you out playing, and
road trip.
It's like you have the most amazing energy on stage, and it comes through in your albums too. You're just so authentic with what you do. So thank you so much for joining us. I thought that we would close with a really cool song of yours, which is "All Go Together." What do you think?
Sounds great. And I will follow you guys on social media, and if anybody's interested, you can go to jackspann.com and find the lyrics for any of these songs. And I really appreciate it, and my heart goes out to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. It's been a true pleasure. Fun. Again, everyone, jackspann.com. The album comes out July 26th. And it's going to be on all digital formats and CD as well. So Jack Spann with 2 N's. And we want to give a shout-out to Spontaneous Rob for taking care of making sure we have music on our shows. Go to songgame.com and play Spontaneous. It's fun. Don't wait till the holidays to play a board game. Unplug, listen to music, and play a game with your friends and family. It's really,
awesome.
We need to keep things like that alive. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's fun.
Spontaneous is a song game for that. But here it is. All Go Together. Thanks so much, Jack. It's been a true pleasure.
Love to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Thank you.
Leaves a crater 8 miles long. What could be deadlier than that? Oh, unless it's the poison germs that creep into your lungs like worms to make tiny rooms in your head. Yeah, yeah. Now I look around this room, potential victims, all of you. Wish I could buy you all a drink, but I can't. Oh, but if tonight they drop the bomb and tomorrow never comes, I'll have them send another round on me, and we'll all go together. All go together. We'll all go together when we go. We shall all go together. Some said he's God and some say right. Once he changed from water into wine. 4 out of 5 holy men agree there's a time for a drinking spree, and I think I've got the perfect one in mind.